We're here at Antigua Forum with Fan Gang. And Fan, you've been heavily involved in China's transition from a planned economy to a market-based economy. Can you tell us about how you got involved in that process? What was your interest and your role?
Yeah, actually, it's quite a kind of the personal experience. I was, in the countryside during the Cultural Revolution, and in 1978, I just got into the university after the Cultural Revolution as a first class. And the same year, China started the reform and opening up. So we see in the past 35 years, so the whole process, have been get to the progress. And because I studied economics, so it's very naturally involved in economic reforms. And China's reform is coming this way, economic first, and then a little bit social, political, and also it's a gradual change. So a lot of things take a long time, take a lot of debates, a lot of the policy making process. So that's a whole 35 years is full of the, policy debates and the policy making. And we were, as an economist, we were highly involved. And I'm a professor. I'm teaching in the Peking University for the economic transitions and also economic development. But at the same time, we have a research institute called the National Economic Research Institute. And we have a small foundation called the China Reform Foundation. So the institute and the foundation is just focusing on the reform policy research. So that's also the way very directly involved in some policy discussion. So that's what we do and how we involved.
And what has been your biggest challenges in reforming China?
Well, actually the challenges are similar to every country. Yesterday we studied some kind of the urban development program, and that's a small change. Also involve a lot of the so-called conflict of interest, a lot of oppositions, obstacles, which actually because of the vast interest of the old system. For China, the same. From very beginning, although the economy was poor, although the old system didn't work well, but still some people who got the vast interest in that, so try to protect their interest and try to against the reforms. The same story everywhere. The politics. A lot of the kind of debates actually talking about the policies, but actually a lot of interest behind them. So that's I think the most difficult part for any reform, but particularly because I know China's reforms. I know from very beginning the rural reforms, the price reforms, and then the enterprise reforms, the development of private sector and the reform of the state company, privatization, and then the further land reform and the social, the urban reforms, everything. But fortunately, because of the economy is growing, you can cut the pie or recut the pie with the bigger pie. So sometimes it's the problem can be solved in the process of further growth, and that's a way I would say sometimes a gradual approach have its merit because they will deal with the opposition in a smooth way. A lot of things actually take time, but during this time, a lot of things happening, and you need to have a kind of a dynamic, point of view to look at a lot of things.
And a lot of countries have tried to transition from a planned economy to a market-based economy, but they haven't always been successful, like China. Why do you think China has been so successful?
Well, China has not yet totally successful. We have a lot of the element of the planned economy, the government control, the government approval, is still a lot of things. But I would say the reason why China got some progress, most important thing is to allow the private sector to grow, and to allow the market approach to prevail. Well, by this way, I would say at the beginning you may not have a total market solution, so we call it two-track system or double-track system. That means you still keep the old track, but allow the new track. That means the market track to grow, because market track is more efficient, right? More effective, and it will grow faster, and it will take some times. Then it grow. More importantly, as a big proportion of the economy, then the old part will be easier to be reformed. So I would say, take the new system and allow new system, new elements of the economy grow first. Don't focus too much on the reforming the old system. And as long as the new one can really grow, and the change will take place, step by step. Don't wait for too long. A lot of I would say not other country the same. I don't know other country how it take place, but I would say a lot of country, people debate and debate and wait and wait. Put things in action and allow the new things to happen. And then because new thing is to grow faster, then the time will take care of a lot of things. So maybe that's one of the reasons why China got to some progress. Don't wait to take action. No matter how small at the beginning, it will grow up.
Here at the Antigua Forum, we often have free economic zones projects and similar. China has had a lot of those too. What role do you think they have played in this transition?
Very important, very important. Not because it's a new approach, a new element in the economy, then they grow and become bigger and bigger. Also, it's a showcase. It's a showcase to others. The new system worked. Particularly at the beginning, in a country like China, a lot of ideological, obstacles, a lot of the suspicions, a lot of the doubts, about the new system, how that will result in. So then when it worked, and people will see, and it's easier to see, and it's part of your economy, part of your country. It's not like foreign country. It's not far away. It's just your people, same company. It worked, and then the other people will copy. So it will spread to the other places easily.
You talked about copying policies and inspiration. Do you think that China has been an inspiration for other countries in Asia for opening up their economies?
I think in some way, yes. This is a big country. If the approach can apply to this big country, because big country have more complications, different situation in different regions, disparities. So if it apply to big country, the other country may, see the why it worked, However, I would say the different countries have different situations, different history, different cultural. Never take one model as a fixed model. You need to think more about what your history, your situation. But one thing is important. The development is something international. if you don't open, you even don't know, what the international market is and what the international competition is. And you are not exposed to the real competition. So you got to open up. And by open up, I take this I think the most important thing is that by opening up, you can learn from others. You can allow the knowledge of other countries to spread over to your country. Because the backward, you don't have much knowledge. You don't have much technology. You don't have much know-how of the management. So let those kind of knowledges spread over from other country to you, and you can learn from that. You can speed up the process of accumulation of the knowledges. The modern economy is all about knowledge. The system is about knowledge. Management is about knowledge. So you can learn quickly and let other knowledges come to you. So I think that played a very important role in addition to the market approach compared to the planned approach. So this opening up is very important. And this is a globalization era. And of course, at the beginning, it's very difficult for developing country to compete with the multinationals, with the developed countries, to squeeze into the market. It's very difficult. But, you got to, put you on that way and try hard to grow. And otherwise, you will never be grow up. So that's a problem. The difficult, but if you don't do that, you will never get anywhere. So that's a problem. Yeah.
What current projects or challenges are you working on right now?
Well, China is is in the new round of reform with this new government. It's involved many things. Not only the economic issues, but also the social issues like social security, healthcare, like every country, healthcare, the rural development, the urbanization, involve a lot of the regulations and the systems. Also, a lot of the old problems still not yet solved, like the state-owned enterprises, like the government control. A lot of policies still give government a lot of powers, and anti-corruption. So many issues. I'm personally and my institute involved very much on the state-owned enterprise reform, government regulatory reform, and rural reform, including the land reform, the land and the relocation of the policies, institutions about the relocation of rural labor force into the city. So that kind of the urbanization system as well. Anyway, still a lot of issues. So that's what I say, it's not finished. It's still a long way to go, and still a lot of difficulties. But good news is, because the institutional reform not yet finished, so you will still have so-called reform dividend. You can harvest if you still continue on the road.
Thank you very much, Fan.
Thank you. Thank you very much.